And we are.
All right, guys, we are here. We are here. We are here. Another edition of Founding Players. I'm filling in for a couple of people. Me and Evan, we're filling some big shoes this week. So I'm on the technical side. Evan's doing what he does best, riding the spotlight. The CEO mogul that he is, doing what he does best. And again, we're back for a remix, for a redo. We got Miss Anitris Dowdy here.
Hello.
But before we get any further, I guess are we waiting for we waiting? Or we just gonna go ahead and jump right into the intro? Sivan, we're gonna jump right into the intro.
Yes, sir. Hey, go ahead. You the controller.
Listen, I'm only doing what you tell me to do, sir.
Controller, you got it.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome everyone. I'm Sean Smith. I'm with Kelly. I'm Evan Garvey. Seminar is brought to you by www.foundedplayers.com. Donate PayPal link on our website. Or at our cash app at 99 Founded Players 624. Or Zelle, SMI@gmail.com. For your donation, we are offering a 20% discount of your stay at Founded Players all the way from home in Columbus Heights, Costa Rica, Jamaica. Treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation with your 20% discount on your stay at our property. Share our organization and property with your family and friends. Book with us. About us. We are an organization created to teach financial literacy to children and adults. Our seminars will educate people in areas such as managing credit, making investments, buying a home, life insurance. We want to use these financial seminars to educate people who would otherwise not be learning about these crucial topics. The home, located in Sharia, Columbus Heights, the home away from home. A private hillside condo overlooking the beautiful bay of City View. A two-bedroom furnished apartment with kitchen, living room, and private balcony. Included are great amenities such as a pool, gym, Wi-Fi, and household essentials. The area. It's a few minutes drive to the famous Denver Mall. Visit the beach at the bottom of the hill and experience the casual and fine dining of the Buffett Margaritaville restaurant. To take the time and read a few of our testimonials at the bottom of our Airbnb. Work with us. Thank you, everyone. Supported, founded, and played. Basketball program. Savon's Academy was created to use basketball developing winners on and off the basketball court. These 6 founding players were the foundation of SAS. We want to pay respect to these players as their lives continue after basketball. So what better opportunity than to stay involved in these players and parents' lives for a lifetime? So we are proud to call the organization Founding Players and to educate others by teaching financial literacy. Big shout out to Coach Chad. Chad used to play.
Yes, well, welcome again, everyone. Special thank you to our founding players of Founding Players Organization. Today, we have a special guest, Arnitri. And Arnitri, if you could do us a favor and introduce yourself to us and to our audience, please.
Okay, I'm Arnitris Dowdy. I'm a published author. I have 2 novels out right now, Dream Teeny 2, The Reality. I also have 2 poetry books out, Pieces of Me and Simply Me.
Great, amazing. Amazing. Marvin, do us a favor and jump in, please. Marvin.
Thank you. Give me a second, bro. I'm getting it, man. Anitris, we want to thank you so much for joining us here. And, you joined us last week and we had a lot of technical difficulties. So we wanted to definitely come back in and do it again. So again, thank you for coming in on our platform and just joining us. You know, it's important that what we're trying to do is we're definitely trying to create a venue, a program where we can, provide financial literacy as well as just overall information to a lot of youth. And, this platform allows us to do a lot of things. And I think some of what you're doing in terms of pursuing your passion is very important in terms of encouraging other young minds to, go ahead and pursue things that they want to do, So my first question is, when did you first realize that you wanted to pursue your passion in writing? When did you realize that you wanted to, it was more than just like a hobby per se?
When I started doing open mics, I've been writing since I was 9. I've been writing since I was 9. I've been writing poetry since I was 9. And it wasn't until my early 20s that I became comfortable with sharing my poems with other people. And in early 2002, I started doing open mics. And when I was sharing my poems with other people, it started to spark a conversation. Either someone was going through what I was going through, or somebody had already went through what I had gone through, or what I was going through. So it sparked that conversation. And it was at that point, it was just like, you know what? Why not try to see if I can get these poems published and share with more people? Because I'm not the only one, going through whatever it is that I was going through. So it was at that point. So around 2001, 2002 is when I decided, like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And that's where I started.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Anitri, I've known you, grew up with you in, town called Spring Valley. Wonderful life that we had there. So it's a pleasure to see that, you're inspiring people with your book. So I want to ask you, how many books have you written so far?
4.
4. And what are those names of those books?
Dream Teeny 2, The Reality, Simply Me, and Pieces of Me.
Dream Teeny 1 and 2. Repeat the next 2 again.
Pieces of Me and Simply Me.
Simply Me.
And Pieces of Me.
Got it. Just taking notes. Appreciate that. Evan.
Okay.
Evan, your mic.
My bad. So I need just definitely, I want to thank you for coming on with us again. Obviously last week, we didn't feel like we did it justice. and obviously you were in the midst of, a blackout. And so I'm just glad that you could join us again here this Wednesday. There's a lot of stuff that we want to ask you, and really just didn't get the chance or the opportunity to be able to do so. And I do want to let you know I caught my Dream Teeny book today.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Thank you.
off of Amazon, so you should see that coming up into your account shortly if you haven't
Thank
done so already. No doubt. And so, obviously I want to talk about the fact that you have 4 books. 2 of them are poetry books, and the other 2 are novels, I guess, more or less, right? And so for you, I mean, you said you started out writing poetry first and foremost, right? So I'm just thinking out loud, like, what led you to decide that you wanted to start writing a novel as opposed to just continuing along with your poetry work?
Okay, so I tried to get the poetry published, and the route that I took, the route that I was taking then, I would have had to pay. Well, I did pay. And once I was going through the process, I was like, you know what, let me educate myself about the process as I go through the process. And I learned that marketing and promoting poetry would be really hard. And so it was just like, okay, I won't be able to do it that way because I'm not a well-known poet. My name is not Maya Angelou, or I'm not Sonia Sanchez. And so I went back to a short story that I wrote. And that short story turned out to become Dream Teeny and Dream Teeny 2.
Now, I haven't yet, so it was more or less just a course, just what you were learning along the way. You started off thinking like you could publish poetry, but just recognized that it'd be much of a hurdle and just decided to go into the lane of short stories. Okay, so now I guess the follow-up question to that is, I haven't read the book yet, obviously, because I just purchased it today. So did you kind of infuse your poetry in Dream Teeny?
Nope. I just, like I said, it was a short story. It was a short story. The short story is actually in Dream Teeny. It's the wedding rehearsal dinner. That was the short story. So that was my starting point. So it was like, okay, now I have to figure out how to get to that point and then, go from there.
Okay.
But that was Dream Teeny 2, short story that turned into 2 novels.
Gotcha. So no thoughts of combining your poetry in any sort of future novels that you might be thinking about, just kind of merging both worlds?
Actually, yes, there is one poem that I wrote that is in another book that I will write.
Okay.
So there are, some poems will go into, future novels, but there's one poem in particular that will go into a novel.
And the reason I'm asking, because just the other day, and I'm sure everyone will remember this, but I was watching Poetic Justice, and it kind of like it's a poetry love story, you know what I mean? But interwoven within a storyline and with Janet and Pac and so forth. So I just thought that the book itself, you know what I mean, whatever the future book is, I mean, it's very much in that same vein, because that was very much a poetry love story.
Yeah. And that's how the novel that I'm talking about in particular, it's not titled yet, but it is a love story, like a tragic love story though. Gotcha.
All right, I got some more questions, but I mean, I don't want to hog up the time here. You know what I mean? I'm interested. I'm intrigued by what you've been able to do and accomplish, Arnitra. So, kudos to you. But I'm gonna give some other people some time, some space, and I'll come back in.
All right.
We appreciate that, Evan.
Thanks, Evan. We appreciate it. It's not the Evan show. Thanks.
So trying to make it
you had a lot of, that was a one question, but that was like a multifaceted question that involved a number of different layers that we had to peel back. So that was pretty good, man.
She handled it. She handled it.
And she did. She did, as we expected her
I've been
to.
doing all day today. I've been doing interviews all day today.
Oh, it's like that. Wow. Well, we're honored that you spent some time with us this evening.
I have to.
So just kind of pulling away from the work specifically, and just I wanted to delve in a little bit into what is your process? Do you have a specific process when you are beginning to write, or when you're trying to create? Is there a process for you that you have to go through? Is there something that you have to be in a mood, or you have to prepare in a certain way, or you just kind of, I feel it inspired and I just write?
When the idea comes, I just take notes and then do an outline. And then when I'm ready to actually work on that idea, I dive ahead and I am all in. But it's just like the idea comes, and then, like I said, I take notes, I do an outline, and then when I'm ready to actually work on that project, I just go all in. So it's like when the ideas come, I write them down. I might not, work on it at that moment. It could be 6 months, a year later that I go back to an idea and then, do the notes and do the outline and try to figure it out. And as I write, I figure it out as I go.
And just to piggyback on that one question, do you work on multiple projects at a time, or do you find yourself working one project at a time?
There are times where I could be working on one project and get an idea for another project, and I'll start working on that other project and go back to what I was working on. Like, for instance, right now, I'm trying to finish up The Tales of Kayla and KK, which is the next novel. But I have an idea for another poetry book. So it's like I'm trying to bring that together and then work on the novel at the same time. But like now I need to just focus on the novel and then go back to the poetry book once I'm done with the novel. So it's like I can work on both, but like I'm learning that each project needs its own energy, its own time, and I can't be working on anything else. But sometimes I can't help it.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, so I'll jump in. To Marv, you asked a question. I was going to ask another question, but I'll just tie it in. Based off of what Marvin just asked you, I wanted to ask you, do you ever have writer's block? And if not, how do you create new work?
My mind is constantly going, so I'm always thinking of ideas. But if I don't really get writer's block, but when I do, I just walk away from whatever it is that I'm working on, then I go back to it.
Yeah. Okay. And the reason why I asked, because I remember we touched on this last week, which is why I said, if you had writer's block, because you mentioned that you don't really have writer's block.
No, I enjoy writing. So I guess maybe that's why I don't get writer's block. But if and when I do, I just walk away from whatever it is that I'm working on, do something else, and then go back to it.
All right, no
but it's
problem.
Rare that I get writer's block. It's rare that I get writer's block.
Yeah, that's great, because I remember me and Marv, we used to sing together, and we wrote songs, and I don't think we ever experienced having writer's block, right, Marv?
Yeah, well, I think that in part boils down to when you're writing about something that you're passionate about. Like you said, you love writing, and I think this might have been one of your questions or something that you were tying into, Savon. Like when you're writing, your writing is your writing based on like reality, or like is it based off of real life? Like, 'cause I think that also, if you're playing on life experiences, it also helps in terms of writing. It's not like creating a fantasy novel or something like that.
Yeah. Well, the poems that I write, those are all me, my emotions. With the novels, I try to incorporate real life into it, but not a lot, if that makes sense. Like I try to give loosely based, very loosely based. But like I try to incorporate real life situations in what I write when I'm writing my novels.
And I think if you follow that route, there's just so much to write about, like, you know, like everyday life, like, you know, there's just so much that you can see that you can incorporate into stories.
Yeah. And that's what I like to do. Like I see things and then I'm like, oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea. But instead of this can happen. You know, I just switch up the scenarios.
Yeah, and I was gonna, based off of what Marvin jumped in and said, I was gonna ask, was the characters inspired by real persons, which you touched on last week as well, but we just want to hear that answer again.
Yeah, my the main character, I kind of loosely base it off of me. Try to give her like, you know, my sarcastic ways, you know, my attitude. And I take with the supporting characters, I take things from friends. I take a little bit from people that I know to kind of give them more life, so you can relate to the character. Like, oh, I have a friend like this, or I know a person like this. You know.
So which characters are based off of?
Yeah, nothing.
Nah, I'm off.
No, I'm not in the books. Oh man, I thought I had that much of an impact in your life that I would at least make it in one of the books. But you know,
if you ever read a character who is the main character's friend, they go jogging, they get ice cream together, they watch wrestling, they cook.
Right.
That would be you.
That would be
that
me.
would be Mark.
Okay.
That would be Mark.
So
I'm gonna be looking out for you, Mark. When I read the book, I'm gonna be looking out for you.
There you go. Look out for me. So currently, I don't know if you're. I guess my question is: are you currently writing full time? Like, is this your full time gig at this point?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. And then I guess to piggyback onto that, and I'll let Evan jump in with a question. How did you transition? And I think we touched on this a little bit last week as well. How did you transition from kind of working full time to kind of pursuing your passion?
I had to make a choice. Like, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I really want to do? Do I want to work a 9 to 5, or do I want to be a writer, an author, an accomplished writer, or accomplished author? What do I want to do? And so it came down to me saying, you know what, I have to follow my dream. I came this far. Previously, you know, I had hurdles. It's like I stopped writing for a long period of time, and then it was just like, you know what, I'm not happy. So I need to do what makes me happy. And then, you know, with COVID, makes life a whole lot easier. Not, you know, but with the decision.
Definitely.
Hey, Evan, before you go, I wanted to mention that, you know, the character is me. I got to be one of the characters.
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
Wow. No? Come on. All of the fantasy football games, I didn't even make it. Didn't make the cut. Oh.
Nah.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
You mean all the times that I won? No?
Nope.
That you won what?
Nah.
Did you win?
The games.
Want to win some credit for your
What did you win? You didn't win anything.
You want to win some credit for your phone?
Right.
Marv, that's a good one.
Right.
Maybe the next book.
Right. Well, Evan, before we jump into your question, Evan, I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of quick promos in here.
All right.
All right.
win some credit for your phone? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe so you can be notified. Come play Family Feud. Join us on YouTube. Thank you for your subscription to our YouTube channel.
You know, it was amazing to see, September was selling out the stores. To sell out in November, Thanksgiving, sold out. We had people hitting on Instagram, saying, hey, I went to the store in Manhattan. It was like Christmas. It sold out.
All right, we're back.
All right, I'm up to bat. So, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about and get a chance to ask you here, Arnitris, is the business side. Because I typically like to focus on the business side of everything. So, and I know that wearing multiple hats as a writer, it's got to be challenging at times. Because obviously you got the creative side, then you also got the business side. And so, I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, when you write, is it merely just focused on the creative side of things, or do you also think, all right, well, how am I going to market this? The business side of it, you know what I mean? Like, how will this be received by my audience and so forth, and how am I going to position it and market it? Do you do that too? Or is it kind of more or less your process is I'm writing, then once I'm done writing with the creative process, then I'm going to look at, okay, well, how do I market it? What's the business side of it, in terms of the audience and so forth. So curious.
I write, and then once I'm at the points where I think I'm done, that's when I think of the business side. Okay, how do I need to market it? What do I do? What do I need to do? Do I need to start promoting it now, or do I wait a little bit? It's kind of hard because like I'm my own person and I'm doing everything myself, the business side and then the creative side. So I've learned along the way to kind of set a schedule. So if a book is taking me, it depends on the draft. If I'm on draft, I do 5 drafts. So if I'm on the 3rd draft, that's when I start deciding, okay, how do I need to market? How do I need to start promoting? What sites do I need to hit up? There are different sites where I can do author interviews and then promote the book as well. So it just depends on where I am in the writing process. And I go from there on the marketing and the promoting. But like now I'm discovering that like I need to write on a Monday, focus on the business on a Tuesday, go back to the writing on a Wednesday, business Tuesday. I need to schedule those days so that everything works because it's hard.
Okay.
It's hard.
Absolutely. So, something Marvin had mentioned earlier with regards to the overall transition, because you're a full-time writer now, right? So, just so our audience understands, the X's and O's, because, some people might get the impression that, all right, I want to write, so I'm just going to, quit my job tomorrow so I could write. And so I'm sure there had to be a process, and it's not something that you just kind of thought lightly of, and it was a process in the making, an evolution, if you will, to get to that point as to where you can make that decision and say, you know what, I'm going to write full time as opposed to, having to split my time, work, write. So just walk us through what that evolution was, because I'm sure it wasn't just day and night. It wasn't just one day you woke up and said, you know what, I'm done with working and I'm just going to write full time. So, did you gradually move to that space, and how did you gradually move to that space?
It took a lot of back and forth of, that back and forth conversation with myself. Like, okay, can I do this? Can I not do this? Will it work? Will it won't work? I just had to have a conversation with myself. Is it something that I want to do, or is it something that I'm just doing just to do? And it's like, no, it's not something that I'm doing just to do. I have goals. There are things that I want to do. I want to have, within 5 years, I want to have 2 shows on TV. That's my goal. So in order for me to do that, I need to put all my focus in the writing. And so, but you have to save. There are things that you have to do. You have to save your money. You have to make sure that, financially you can do it. But if financially you can't do it, then you still have to work until you financially can. But for me, it's like I have goals. And so in order for me to reach those goals, I need to be in this all the way. Not 50%, not 80%, but 100%. Right.
But clearly you saved. You know what I mean? Like you stacked some chips before you decided to make your exit.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, one thing I want to make sure that the audience is kind of aware of, you know, like there's a process in which somebody comes to an eventual point of working on their business full time. And it's not, hey, today I woke up and I just want to, you know, I just want to write. And, you know, especially when you've got family, you got kids, you know, you got a significant other. I mean, there's obligations and responsibilities that you have to always be mindful of, you know, as you're making your evolution to the space that you want to be. So now, just one question here, and you know, one more question.
Just one?
Yeah, one more question.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I understand the goal, 5-year goal, in terms of, you know, eventually having 2 shows. So have you started looking at, okay, script writing, you know, just kind of looking at what that process looks like, as you're, you know, currently a full-time writer. So, I mean, is that part of your strategy right now, doing some scripts and more or less pitching them just to kind of see if, you know, what the interest is like, and just to kind of find out the process too, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, there's a different process by way of writing a novel or by way of writing for TV or writing for movies, or, I mean, there's a different process for all of that.
I started that process in 2005. When I started learning about the publishing industry, like you said earlier, you know, and I said it last week, you know, I just thought you submit to a publisher and the publisher either says yes or they say no. I didn't know there were so many other things behind, you know, that so many other things that you had to do. Like writers have agents. I didn't know that. I queried about 21 different publishers and agents. Half of them said no. And then the other half were just like, okay, send in your synopsis in either the first 3 chapters or the full manuscript before they said no. After I got all those no's back, it was just like, I felt defeated, but I wasn't defeated. And then I just asked myself, you know, well, what is it that you want to do? And I said, eventually I want to write for TV. You know, I want to create my own TV show. I want to write a movie. And I got, a couple of days later, I got a screenwriters conference catalog in the mail. And I looked over at that, I looked over the catalog. It looked like I had that catalog for like maybe 6 months. I had only had it for like a week. And I ended up going to the conference out in LA. After that conference, everything that I learned there, I was able to come back and apply it to Dream Teeny. Dream Teeny was originally titled Killer Martini. When I would tell people the title, everybody thought it was like a murder mystery book, and it was like, no, it's a romance book. So at the conference, I learned about, you know, titles. You know, your title has to fit your genre. And so from there, I kept going back. Whenever they had a conference out in LA, I was there, learning about, you know, the movie industry and the TV industry. So I started learning back then, you know, pitching different ideas to different production companies. And so, but I actually got something brewing.
All right, good.
So Anitris, I know you've done these books, and you've kind of bypassed, if I'm not mistaken, you've bypassed like the big publishers like the Simon and Schusters, and you kind of have a process, or you've learned throughout this process in terms of how to get your content out, right? Is that kind of like how do you go about getting your books published when you're done with your 5 drafts and everything else and you're ready to move towards publishing?
I do the self-publishing route. I go through Amazon. I also go through Lulu. Lulu makes it available where Amazon won't make it available. So I use those 2 to, you know, publish my books. I went the self-publisher route. So when I'm ready to publish, I go to Lulu, I publish my book on Lulu. They get them to Barnes and Nobles for the Nook, and then for the Apple, for the iBookstore, and then for Kobo. They also do Amazon, but I deal with Amazon separately from Lulu.
I would assume that you gain higher returns from doing the self-publishing route as opposed to going through the major publishers.
Yeah. Because, you know, with the major publishers, they're taking a percentage, and then, you know, whatever you don't make, you know, somehow they have to recoup
Right.
what they put in. So it's like, okay, if your marketing strategy doesn't work and you know you're losing, so it's like with me, I'm working on my own schedule. I can price the book how I want it to, you know, however I want it to price, however I want to price it, and then, you know, get my return.
Mm.
So even though it's not a lot of work, but it works out for me. It works for me. And it's easier.
Oh. Okay, Mark, jump into two commercials real quick, then I'll come back and I'll stay on the topic as marketing on the business side of things that Evan brought up.
My name is Imani Jones. I'm the founder of FYID NYC. We're curating the show today for Pecan.
My name is Edwin Bellevue, representing Pecan. Pecan is a French Creole dialect meaning to be fresh. We turned that word into be fresh and cool. Our slogan is fresh style, fresh attitude. Your style is what you put towards your clothes, and the attitude is what you put towards your clothes as well. And this is what we represent. Let's go. You better move. 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 Louis my shoes. What am I with? On 22. I say it down. I had to school. Just like a bird. She gonna swoop. Neck is hot too. Might catch the flu. Banana clip. Straight from the zoo. I'm like, Mother Goose, if I say shoot, they gonna shoot. No, I'm not sweet. I just got flipped. Don't need no water to mix up this juice. They say why your chain it look like a choker. That's for the space they had to wear the noose. No, you can't cuff me, baby. Let me loose. The way that I live, baby, that's a rule. That's a closet that came with a rule. One was in 8 bars, not no rules. You ask me his name, then you don't have to prove.
Yes, shout out to our business partner, Edwin Bellevue and Rod, you know, for their Frecon commercial. Shout out to our partners. We want to touch on the marketing. Here at Founding Players, we like to say, you know, together teamwork makes the dream work. And Anitri will definitely love to have a commercial running for you as well, where it gives us an opportunity to promote your product, promote your book, you know, to our audience, you know. So how would you love to have a commercial going with us to promote your book? Speaking on marketing.
I would love that.
Well, we got to get that done, you know. So anything that you could turn over to us, that way we can put a commercial together for you. So we can, the same way you just saw those commercials, we want to put you in the lineup as well. And
okay.
To touch on also another commercial that we run on the platform, which is Slaughter Joseph and his Blue Royale liquor. Slaughter Joseph mailed me his liquor, as well as he mailed.
Well, he didn't do that. We got it, but you didn't mail it.
Oh, my bad. All right, but listen, I received it, and what I did, I called Slaughter, and I said to him, I said, listen, there's a couple stores that I go to support, So what I did was told him, was it okay for me to go and speak to those stores and see if we could get his product in the stores? And he said that he does have distribution here in Florida. And if I could do that for him, it would be much appreciated. So one hand always washes the other. So I'm going to go to a couple stores throughout the state and see if we can get his product in the stores. You know, so same thing we want to do, you know, for you as well, to push your book.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love that.
No problem.
I had a quick question. Savon, you asking the question? I had a quick question. I need to jump in here.
No, go ahead.
All right, it's all good. You know, I'm coming locked and loaded with the questions today, Arnitris. All right.
Okay.
So,
all right, come on.
So, all right, cool. So, in terms of your audience, your community, I mean, how are you growing that? You know, because like, where can people go to necessarily follow you? Is it IG? Do you do Facebook groups? You know, I mean, like, how can anyone who's a fan of your work, you know, can continue to have a dialogue and a conversation with you, you know, and still follow your work?
They can, I'm on IG. Majority of the time I'm on Instagram. So I'm at Dowdy Writes on Instagram. Twitter, same handle, at Dowdy Writes. And then, you know, I collect email addresses. And so I send out a newsletter. So that's how I connect with my readers, my fans.
How do you collect? I missed that part. How do you collect email addresses?
If I go to an event or if I speak to somebody who's interested in, you know, reading a book or finding out more, I'll ask for their email and be like, okay, can I send you? I have a newsletter, so can I send you the newsletter through the email? And that way, or, you know, like I connect with people on Instagram or Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Instagram and or Twitter. And both of the handles are at Dowdy Writes.
Gotcha. All right, share that again with the audience, and a lot slower this way so they can make sure that they get it down. And maybe we can put that in the chat too as well, just so they can know how to follow you.
I'm at Dowdy, D-O-W-D-Y, Writes, both on Twitter and Instagram.
Cool deal. So, I didn't hear you mention Facebook groups, you know, where, you know, there's a lot of writer groups, you know, that usually on Facebook. And, you know, I know some writers who utilize these Facebook groups as a way to market as well, and as a way to connect with their community, grow their community. I mean, is that something that you've thought about, or, you know, spent time, you know, looking at some of these particular groups, or maybe even, in fact, starting your own group?
I've looked into them. I'm actually a part of maybe about 2 or 3 groups. I have to research it more to see if it'll work for me, because that does take a little bit of time. So I have to figure that part out. But I gotta see if it'll work for me. But I have thought about it.
Gotcha.
So I have a question. What advice would you give like up and coming writers or young people? Because I know this program is geared towards a lot of youth. So if you have somebody that's young that's interested in writing, or what advice would you give them, or what would you tell them in terms of if they wanted to pursue writing as a career?
Keep writing. Don't stop. You have a story that needs to be told, and only you can tell your story, how it needs to be told. So I would say don't stop writing, keep writing. But if it's something that if writing is something that you really want to do, be passionate about it. And like I said, keep writing, because there will be times where you're just like, you know what, I don't even want to write anymore. Like I've had those moments, but since I enjoy it, it's my passion, I keep going. So just keep writing. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. You have a story. Your story is unique, and only you can tell the story the way that it needs to be told. Nobody else can write your story for you. That goes with anything. If you're passionate about anything, keep doing it. Practice, 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 practice. You have to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Practice. We talking about practice?
That's why I didn't want to go there.
Oh boy, you know it's like her favorite basketball player in life, right? Like that's her man crush right there, AI.
Hey, you know that line is gonna stay with him forever.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you, Anitri. Figure I'll ask this. What are your thoughts on me calling this organization Founding Players, based off of the fact that these are the players that helped to build my Savants Academy Stars basketball program? I know you've been watching and seeing what I've been posting over the years. So what are your thoughts on me calling the organization Founding Players, based off of the founding players of the Savants Academy program?
I think that's awesome. You guys are the founding players, so why not?
Yeah, makes sense,
Like,
right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, why not? If you're the founding players, why not name it after you guys? It's not like one person. It's geared towards like one person. Like the academy, your All-Star Academy, that's you. But then you guys branch off into other things, but you guys work together. Founding players. It's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I had a vision, and it was grow. We all grow. We all was kids once, and we're here now, and we got, plenty more to go. So that's one of the reasons why I love doing what I do, helping people, because anytime that you could see a baby go from a baby to a child to an adult, that's amazing feeling, So I always had the vision, of it's not where you start, it's where you finish. You have to have goals. You got to set those. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So last week we put you on the spot. We wanted to hear a piece, but it was kind of in the dark, and we had a lot of technical difficulties. So I'm putting you on the spot again, and seeing if you can share some of your poetry with us.
Just bless.
I figured you'd be prepared this time since we already put you on the spot last week.
Yeah.
You need a second? I can shoot to another commercial if you need a second.
Yeah, I need a second.
I got mad questions too.
Oh, okay. Evan got mad questions. Go for it, Evan. Go for it.
But wait.
Don't forget, we gotta keep it at a certain. Don't forget that. But Marv, jump into the question when Evan come back. He can do what he do. But Marv, skip to something. You know what I mean.
Spinning over here. Oh man, we have some technical difficulties over here. I don't know what's going on, man.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I think we back. Hold on.
Execute the plan. Whoa, marathon, I made sure I ran. Whoa, very grown, but I stay Peter Pan. Whoa, anywhere I go.
What happened? Oh, is that?
Make it in business, you need that support system, and you need the right people around you. Those positive people, those people that are always encouraging you, the people that believe in you. Negativity is only gonna bring you down in any business you're doing. And you also need to believe in yourself. In everything that you're doing, you have to believe in yourself. And you have to be able to handle going through the storm, because in every single business, there's some hurricanes, there's some tornadoes, there's some earthquakes, but you just get back up. You just get back up. It's all life. So, but that's pretty much it.
Justin, where's my Ki, Kaden? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I want to hear a lot of Ki, Xavier. She. Oh. Come on, Corey. You lot. You. Yeah, man. Hey, now it. All right.
Are we back? Or did I pull a rod?
We're back. I think so.
Are we back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Pull a rod. We're back. I think so.
We're back.
Sorry, there was delay because the YouTube was still on. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm a newbie. All right, we back at it. And from what I understand, I didn't play the videos. Nobody told me that the video wasn't playing. I can't hear you, Savon.
Savon, you muted.
Oh, I was saying, check your message. I had your back.
Yeah, I didn't see it. My bad. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, so, one of the questions last question, I promise. I need you.
It's okay.
All right. So, Marvin had mentioned the fact of, what you would tell the youth. And I think one of the themes I got out of this conversation here today with you was tell your story, and don't be bashful about sharing your story and whoever that is, whatever that is, and pursuing your passion. So, if somebody were to ask you in terms of like, your messaging, your brand, if you will, I mean, like, could you kind of define that in a few words in terms of what that looks like and what that is?
It's a love brand. I love writing about love and everything that comes with love, the hurt, the pain, the happy, the good, the bad, the sex, all of it.
Okay.
So,
Good.
yeah, I have a love brand. I'm like like I said, I had an interview earlier and, they asked me the same question. I'm one of those soft romantics. I believe in happily ever afters. I believe that there's somebody out there for everybody. I believe in love. So, and that's what I write about.
Let's give it up for love. I want to see some hearts in the chat.
All right, so you had a chance there to pull up some material. You ready to hit us with something?
I guess, I suppose. Where'd it go? It's called The Avenue. Sometimes I just want to give up, but then I remember that I can't. It's not the streets that call me, it's the avenues that shout out to me. They call since they offer me more, but it feels like I'm just walking around taking a tour. When I think I'm at the end of that avenue, it just gets longer. My urge to go on suddenly gets stronger. Damn, I love the avenues.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hey, you know what? We're gonna have to do what Evan did. We're gonna have to go on Amazon.
Yes,
Thank
definitely, definitely.
you, Evan. Appreciate you for putting that out there.
And on Amazon, you can pick up not only Dream Teeny, but she has Dream Teeny 2. And what are the other 2 books that you have on Amazon?
Pieces of Me and Simply Me. And
you got the special?
Huh?
You got the special? You get 4 for 2?
Nah, there's no bundle package. No bundle package. Amazon doesn't do that for you, Marvin.
No bundle.
Yeah,
Could you what?
Go ahead, Anitris. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Pieces of Me and Simply Me, it shows how vulnerable I am. Like, I open up in those books. So it's like I've gone through things, and I give you the poem, but I also give you the backstory to how that poem came about. Like, I share things that, like, I didn't think I would share, but I did. And I think it's a way for my poems, my poetry, and the essays, my thoughts. It's a way that my readers can get to know me. They can see what type of person I am.
It's pretty brave to be vulnerable like that.
It's scary, but like I said, we all go through things, and then sometimes we just want to keep it to ourselves. But then when you share it with someone and realize that that person has gone through the same thing that you went through, you can ask that person, well, how did you get through it? What did you do to get through it? What helps you? So it might help me, So it's like a way to help somebody else. Like, hey, look, you're not the only one who's going through this. I went through this, and this is how I dealt with it. It might not work for you, but you can take something out of it. You can get something out of it.
Absolutely.
Well, Arnitri, a lot of the songs that we hear, I've been hearing from back in the days till now, are real life situations, a lot of them. Because I remember when me and Marv used to write, I know from my standpoint, I wrote about life, what was happening. And I'm sure Marv did the same. We came together and we put it, but regardless, whatever was going on with us, we wrote about it. So it was real. And there's a lot of people out there who do that, especially when it comes from writing. We don't normally make things up. We normally write about experiences. A lot of us do.
Yeah. Some people do. You know what? It's funny because the love poems that I used to write, I used to keep them in notebooks. And I remember, guys would go through, can I get a piece of paper or whatever, and go through a folder and would find a poem, would actually want to keep the poem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you want to keep this? Okay, let me write my name on it so your girlfriend won't think that you wrote it. But also, my mom, she's like my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. She would tell people about the poems that I would write, and people would actually ask me to write poems for them. So I also wrote poems for people. I did it for weddings. I would, write them out, put them in a frame it as a gift, and just write for other people. So.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Let me say my piece, and then I'll let them guys say their piece. Well, we would like to thank you for sharing your experience with us and, with our audience, So I want to thank you for being here and interviewing with us. Remember, here at Founding Players, it's about uplifting each other, and together, teamwork makes the dream work. So we appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Anitris, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's a pleasure. We hopefully we did a nice redemption, and we were able to get your product out and able to have a really good discussion. So I appreciate you. I love you. Just thank you so much for coming out and joining us on this platform.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. I'm a second and I'm a third that. It was great having you on, and I know I had a lot of questions, but you're an intriguing.
You had a lot of questions last week.
I know, but I had to type those out. You know what I mean? So now I got the written speech.
I couldn't keep up. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, but you see, and this is the thing. And you, I know you dealt with Evan before, but this is Evan 24/7. Like, this is just nonstop. This is the way he is. Like there's no like on screen, off screen. Like what you see is what you get. 110% all in all the time. That's what we love about high energy.
I like that energy.
So, great. So, listen, I just wanted to thank you for being here and, you know, really just sharing some of your knowledge, some of your expertise, and just opening up to our audience. And, you know, in terms of what we're doing here with Founding Players, I mean, you definitely speak to that, speaking to our audience. And what I'd like our audience to do is go support, you know what I mean, and go buy that, go cop that Dream Teeny 2, Pieces of Me and Simply Me. And you guys can do that right now.
Yes, you have to do it right now. All available on Amazon.
Absolutely.
If you have an iPhone, pull up Dream Teeny 2 is in the iTunes bookstore. Kobo. Where else is it available? Yeah, Barnes & Noble's Nook.
In other words, no excuses. No excuses. Anyway.
And when you make the purchase, go ahead and post that picture on her IG showing that you purchased the book. Bam.
Yes, tag me.
There you go. There you go.
Also, I'm working on another book, which I think I will be releasing next month. I need 2 pictures to go inside of the book. This next book is called The Tales of Kayla and KK. No.
I don't look like a Kayla or a KK. I guess I'm out the picture.
It's a bunch of short stories. And this is, okay, so how can I best describe this? All right. Kayla is the person. KK is the vajayjay. So when you read the short stories, there's either going to be from Kayla's perspective or they're going to be from KK's perspective.
Gotcha.
So, every time there's an episode, there's 2 sides of the story, but these 2 sides of the story is not a his and her, it's a her and her side.
So she's thinking with her head, or she's thinking, gotcha.
No.
We need to do the flip side of that with Jimmy and John.
Why are you stuttering?
We need to do the flip side with Jimmy and John, you know?
But yeah, so that's the next book coming up.
Anitra, do me a favor. Can you put the name of your 4 books in the chat?
Yep, I'm doing it now. But yeah, so The Tales of Kayla and KK will be out sometime in September.
Nice.
Okay, great. Hey, Ed, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Edwin Bellevue.
And I think over the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have some information on how to support our movement, what we're doing. I know Evan and Savannah are working behind the scenes to get some things set up. So we'll have some exciting news coming here in the next couple of days or weeks or soon.
Yes, sir.
So, Savannah, is there anything else you need to do?
Well, I'm just
Evan, you have any more questions?
You don't want to ask that.
Evan's always got a question.
Hey, it's 9:05.
No, I'm trying to be respectful of the time. We're really trying to keep everything under an hour. As interesting as the conversation is, we just want to really be respectful of everyone's time, our audience, our guests, and just really trying to make sure. So what we can do, though, you know what I mean, if you really want to, get into it, we can do part 2, part 3, part 4, in terms of the questions, and then we can take it from there. But no, we'll definitely have to have you back once you get that next book out. At the end of September, we got to have you come back, do a book promo, talk about the details, and we can kind of take it from there. And we'll do a marketing push for you as well. So it'll be good.
Thank you. I would love it.
And Anitra, I'd like to invite you back. We have various nights where we do just various speaking topics, just talking about a number of different things. And I think if you'd like, we'd like to have you to come in one day to just have a woman's perspective. I think that would be pretty valuable to our group.
Hey, no doubt. Yeah. Let me know. Don't let me know at the last minute.
We'll let you know.
Let me know.
And with that being said, I actually lost my thought. Lost it. Just went out the door.
Find it, man.
Trying to find it. Oh man, you know what? It came and left again. Wow, I'm getting there.
Wow.
Yeah. It came and left. I remembered it and it just went back right where it came from. It's crazy. But yeah, thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You are
I
welcome.
appreciate you guys.
Cool.
Well, see you soon.
Signing off, folks.
Savon, what do we have coming up?
Oh, hold on. You know, I remember what I was gonna say now, so might as well get it out. I was going to say that being that you've been on our show and you know what we're about, we would like for you to share us with whoever you know, because you never know who you reach out to and who may help you along. You know, never know who's watching. So every person matters. So if it's 2 people, 3 people, your closest friends, share our platform with them so they could know about Founding Players.
Will do.
That's why together, teamwork makes the dream work. One hand washes the other.
So Evan, do we have any? Savon, do we have anything coming up this week, or any other? What else we have on the agenda for this week?
Well, we have the game show. I mean, we spoke about just doing, this twice a week. So we have our game show on on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then we have the interviews on Wednesday nights. And as you mentioned to Arnitri a few minutes ago, that if we get into, discussion, sometimes we like to come on a Friday night and have these discussions, that's very meaningful to all of us. I personally would love to keep those going, maybe not every Friday, but maybe every other Friday. So that's something for us to consider. But as it stands right now, 2 nights a week with a possibility of maybe every other Friday.
Okay. So Anitris, we'll let you know when we do that Friday roundtable.
Okay.
We'll let you know, and hopefully you'll be able to fit us into your schedule. All right. But other than that,
I will put you into my schedule.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you don't forget the little people.
Of course not.
She still ain't putting you in the books, though. She still ain't putting you in the books.
Listen, that's all right, though. Whenever I call, as long as she answers, I'm good.
I told you, if there's a character in the future book where, if she's a running partner, he's a running partner, ice cream, they cook, they watch wrestling.
Right. That's me. There you go. All right, people. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been another great interview, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good night, everyone. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like all our videos, and turn on your notifications so you know when we're on. Appreciate it.
Good night. Amazon.com, Dream Teeny 2, Pieces of Me, and Simply Me. Available there.